Now, the 30 days rant challenge is over. What next? 30 days rant challenge is over. What next? You see, to begin with, Nigeria politicians are the most locked people in the whole world. Now, this challenge, they didn't listen to us. They didn't listen to anybody. Nothing has been done to address the issue of this 30 days orange challenge, because who is to address the issue? What are they going to do? Nothing. So they are the most luckiest set of people in the whole world, because they are not being held accountable for their wrongdoings. That's why every time they will have time to do anything that comes to their mind, do it and get away with it, because they are not being held accountable of their wrongdoings. That girl raised that issues that time, that Tinubu was terrible, a lot of rant challenge like that. Nothing happened. Nothing seems to happen. But what am I trying to say like this? Because if what I think we should be saying or calling now, what everybody should be talking about now is this electoral reform. That INEC should sign this electoral reform. They should sign it into law before we go into election in 2027. That one, it might help, or it will help. Electoral reform, transmission of vote immediately at that polling unit. Vote, transmit that voting immediately. Anybody will have access to that voting immediately. You don't need to go come back. There is no, if there's any glitches in beavers, whatever, then there will be a problem for that. Election will be cancelled in that polling unit. Election will be cancelled. They have to redo another election like that. Transmission of that vote immediately. Not like at that day they said because it was not signed into law, and there was no provision for that to say that says election must be transmitted live. Like seriously, because it's going to be back and forth issues again at that 2027. So if we continue to shout this now, electoral reform, if we have to do any protest again, this is number one on top of the list, as they are planning this protest now. 7 million march protest coming up in December according to them. So, and for me, if they want to do protest, any protest that has to do with planning, it takes a lot of time to plan. I don't think it works. If you feel, just without informing, just call whistle, just blow whistle, want everybody jump on the street to go and challenge, just like what happened in Kenya the last year. What happened in Kenya last year? It's jump. If you're taking time to plan that you protest, you are going to do what are going to achieve. We know the country is bad. We know what we want already. Just call, just like a whistleblower, blow the whistle. Today we are hitting the street for protest. Let everybody jump on the street and march to the National Assembly and demand for this. This is what we want, and this has to be done before we leave that office. Even if they are promising all this, going to within 7 days, this should be signed into law. After 7 days, if nothing is being done about it, then we hit the street again. Do you understand? So that's what I think, because now 30 days challenge is gone. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. The price of food and services has not changed. It still remains, still on the high side. So that's what everybody should be saying now. Electoral reform should be signed into law. It should into law. Transmission of results immediately. If there is any polling, there is problem, server problem, signal problem at that polling unit, it shouldn't be every polling unit. Every polling unit will not have problems at the same time. Or if they have problem, they cancel. They have to redo election again. So it's going to help us a lot. So you see, every day we continue to do, because we can't do the same thing and expect different results. So INEC chairman is what INEC chairman has a lot to do. INEC chairman, because if this has not been addressed before we go into election, I don't know, but I still so much believe that yes, let all the PDP governors join the APC. I still believe that APC will lose election in 2027. It's not a joke, yes, but for us to get there, have that confidence, this is part of what we need. Do you understand? It's part of what we need. We see a lot of things going on. We can't continue, because if we allow this to continue after 2027, this person continue another 4 years, it's going to be a year of agony and pains. That is it. Truth. It's going to be a year of agony and pains. Only God knows how many people will survive it at that time. Because a lot of damages has been done. It's going to take time. But if we allow these 4 years, to add to the problems, many problems already on ground, because in that 2020, 2027 to 2031, continue with this problem again. Whoever comes at that time again is going to be problem. The problem will be too much for that person to start addressing. But with this damage of 2 years, manage it for 4 years, let another person come. If at all we have a reasonable person who truly feel the impact of Nigerian people, feel the pains that people are going through now, who is going to take decisive actions to start dealing with issues one after the other. Because I said, people are not being held accountable of their offenses, of their wrongdoing. That's why we are here. Anybody can just do anything and get away with it. Law, there's no law again, there's no constitution broken, everything just because somebody wants to be the president. So I've said it, all we need now, INEC electoral reform should be signed into law. That will give a lot of people hope at that time to say, okay, we are going into this election with full confidence. It's not just the words of man with INEC. There is no promise. There's no promise that INEC is going to promise us again that he has not promised. You could remember in Chatham House, what happened? There's no promise more than that. In front of the world, you make this promise to Nigerians, so the whole world. At the end of the day, you did opposite of what you promised. So there is no promise again that he's going to promise. That one is going to be words of mouth. Do you understand? And that's why on that day, you see the way they are analyzing the election upon. I never make that mistake. They analyze. You see a lot of analysis, analysts analyzing, lawyers, all of them saying that it is not mandatory. It is not a must. That there is no law that says election must be transmitted live. Come on now. But now, if we now have it signed into law, there's nobody, no Sam, no lawyer will come and explain to us and analyze it again. It has been signed into law. Because the greatest mistake we have, or the problem rather, the greatest problem we had during election is INEC. Once INEC is being compromised, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. So let this be signed into law. Let INEC chairman be compromised. He cannot compromise the system. If he compromises the system, the election will be cancelled. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video. Please follow this my new page, Justino ETV. Please, I'll tag the page on this video.